Listen to that soothing rain sound. The whistling winds. Imagine yourself in a... I mean, I'm not entirely sure what I would describe this landmass as, but with your feet just pressed against the receding ice on a fairly large lake. The rhythmic hum of your spaceship's engines in the distance. Soft lullaby played out across the greebled hull by the rain. Okay. Now, what were we doing? We were going to do quests and then we were going to leave. Do we want to get a bit of extra food in? I think we probably do. If we have a look over here, it's going to be a while before we can get you switched over, unfortunately. But it's something we can work on. We can't do the flooring right now, sadly. We do have mech scrap at least. I think, yeah, we're probably going to take the time to do a little bit more hunting before we head out. Is there more materials that we need? Let's have a look. We don't need any more steel, no. So if we have a look for machine, compacted machinery down here, we will mine that out. But other than that, I think we're probably going to leave once we've got the food. We need to get an expansion over here, so that is definitely one of the quests that we want to go for. And in regards to those, if we have a look here on the map, perhaps we'll be able to pick out a route. I think it isn't too far away. We'd come up here for a little stash. Yeah, there's two just down here that we can go to. Mind you, there's also a couple of things going on over here. Distress signal, a hunting work site, so there would be meat there perhaps, which would be nice. There's also a ancient garrison over here, but I don't think we're going to be going with that. I think we're more likely to just be heading straight down towards this location. Maybe even go to this lake, foggy mixed biome lake, and then connect with the mechanoid relay. Mechanoid relay versus an ancient stockpile. I'm kind of feeling the ancient stockpile is probably the safer one for me to go to, but it's out in the desert and pollution at that. There's a bandit camp over there that I could go and raid. So let's have a look. Hunting work site identified. That's only going to be there for 3 days. It's got bird skin. I don't really think we care about that one. Shield in the outpost. That would be there. Don't think we're going to be going with that one either. We've got another hunting work site. That's this one. They just have a bunch of plain leather. So I don't really think it's that important for us to head to. Unknown threat. It's a little ways away, that one. That's far too far away. We're not going to be going to that one. And then we've got the distress signal, which involves camp loot. I think that's a little bit more than we want to deal with right now, though. I don't think that that's going to be really what we're heading towards. Well, let's have a quick look. Can I make any new builds? I can, if I've got cloth. Do I have cloth? I don't really know. That is a shame. That is indeed a shame. I do have enough for one flak vest. Or one flak pants, I guess. I've got enough plasteel to make a couple of flak helmets, but I don't think we really care for those as much as the steel helmets or the flak vests, perhaps. I'll just queue one of those up, sure. Go ahead and make a flak vest for me if you get the chance. I don't think there's any particular reason to settle here. We have a look at the fertility overlay. No. There'll be better places for us to grow. So I think all we're going to do here is take care of a couple of the animals. What are you doing right now? You're bringing back a mech. Okay, well, I'm going to let everyone get some things done. Just pop things where they need them to be. You know what? Let me make this a little bit easier by bringing that down here. I'm being super lazy by doing this, by the way. And then we will whomp and bring that all the way down. That should still be within range of this bill. Yeah. This way, it's not going to decay anymore while it's outside. Or it shouldn't, at least. Minor break risk, but it's nothing too terribly bad. There we go. I could always have them do a little bit of fishing just straight outside this door here if I wanted to. I'm not really sure that that's necessary, though. Hey, Demi. I haven't been to the Glowshroom Forest yet, no. Sadly, that has not happened yet. Well, we've got a bunch of wildlife on the map that isn't going to kick up a fuss if we hunt it. So how about we get out there and do that? The caribou I don't really care too much about, or the rat and the squirrel really, or the mink. Let's not hunt the mink. Well, no. Maybe the Arctic fox. No, probably not. But here's the turkey, the ibex, and the bucks. Wow, this is an early YIO. I am not at all. Was not at all prepared for that. That has happened really early. We are blessed. Oh, well, while that's going down, then let's get some extra wood, I suppose. So much Rimworld to watch, but I only have 2 eyes. Alas. I guess I'll just pop that in there. One person can fish. Just stand in the doorway and fish, I guess. Actually, you know what? That's probably not the best idea. So instead, I'll do something like this. Let's expand this out just a little bit. And I will have them build a very, very, very small little pier just off that little section. So they can just stand out there and fish if they want to. Nice and close. I really do love the freezing mechanic now, though. That's actually really cool. Alright. Here's effort. That's definitely a try by Randy to lower our guard before striking. Probably. That is actually fair. Now, one thing I would like to do with this ship at the moment, there's a lot of things I'd like to do, actually. But one of the things that I would particularly like is to try and scooch stuff around a little bit more. Make things a bit more space efficient. Now, how best to achieve that is a question. If I were to move some of these batteries, I can have a battery over here, for example, comfortably enough. Let's do that. Unfortunately, I can't lift these up, so I'm gonna move these around. But if I move one there and the other one over here, that will make better use of the space because I can move that down here then. Let's eject this, turn it off. There we go. And deconstruct it, please. Also like this reinstalled. There we go. Once that's out of the way, I'm going to rebuild it right there. And then this battery is going to go elsewhere. Don't know where yet, but we're going to find somewhere to scooch it. You know what? I don't need 2 doors into this room. That's absolutely surplus to demand. So instead, we're going to replace that. Thank you. I'll have that little pier there. There you go. Try not to just leave things on the floor, though, eh? You know what? Maybe I need to push this out a little bit further. Sure. We'll make a little fishing pier right there. Scooch that one. Pop another bridge right there. We'll leave it when we go. And if you could just... someone else move it, perhaps. That'd be grand. Toxoid Society. We don't really care about them. Major break risk going on. Could you hold this for me? Thank you. Oh no, Splitsy, what's going on? Days wandering around in psychotic state. The final straw was I had a decent barracks. You fussy little madam, Splitsy. Ready to launch again, which is very nice. But of course, Splitsy has decided to be outside. Some more dough. Actually, how much room is left in here? You know what? I'm going to allow... I'm going to unlink specifically this one. I'm going to change this shelf to clear all. Only allow fresh. Also, these definitely need to not allow rotten. Thank you. There we are. Only allow fresh, and I want corpses, animals. Because small corpses will fit on that tile. This should be normal, important. There we go. I believe they can put like rats, fish. I think even hares will be able to fit on it. Squirrels should be able to fit. Let's get everything moved around. Maybe I'll build a little cordoned off area and I'll just make sure to land the ship correctly to encourage to make sure that I've always got like a little fishing pier off the side of the ship wherever we go. What? I have a comfortable bag to sleep in? How dare you? Splitsy, apparently. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Rimworld things, you know. Right, let's get one of these built right there. Then once that's moved, I'm going to be doing the same thing there. There we go. This one can have its contents ejected. And break it down as well. Batteries will start to drain because we're running on one less generator than we usually would. Where the hell is Splitsy right now? You inside at least? Yeah, you are. Good. I'm going to need a fair bit of steel. We've easily got enough. And a decent amount of components too. Again, we've still got enough. We definitely don't need to mine anymore for the foreseeable future. We got more than enough materials right now. More than enough. Cutting them up for a bit more meat. It does feel, though, like having a ship is going to involve having being more of a carnival diet setup. It really does feel that that's going to be the typical approach. I could bring this battery back in here now. Just tuck it in there if I wanted to. Space is everything, and we don't have much to play with. Either that or beeline for hydroponics. I really don't think that hydroponics would be the way to go. I really don't. Because it costs so much to run a sun lamp. Like 3,000 to run a sun lamp. That's 3 chem fuel generators just to run the sun lamp. Not counting anything else. And the hydroponics themselves pull a decent chunk of power, and also the amount of space you need. Like, where would I put that right now? I mean, ultimately, you would want to build up to that, but not early on. It's being held account near an item stash and an armed guard. 6 impids. Well, it is within range, and would probably be something that our people would be happy to do. Be an opportunity to be the good guys, as we know they are wont to. Let's get all of this place cleaned up if we can. How many more carcasses do we need? Not that many. Oh, actually, no. We've got plenty of floor space right now. There we go. No longer wandering the psychotic state. You're going to be gonna have a bit of catharsis now. That's always going to be important to us. Splitty's immediately gone back to hunting. I'm actually going to tell you to stop. We don't need more of that done just yet. I would rather bring in carcasses over fish. Fishing is more something we do when we don't have other options. I mean, we can stack fish up to quite large amounts, it seems, so it's a reasonable thing to do when we have the opportunity, but right now we've got a bajillion other things that we can work on. Oh no, wait. Oh, did I check that first? 6. I think we've got someone with 6. Yeah, it's a Azure Storm. Unfortunately, they are focusing on hunting first, which is a problem. But the Ibex Ram is about done. I'll let that happen, and then Azure can get back to construction. I have main game and biotech. What DLC is recommended next? Or should I get this one without the others? Okay, so Steel Rig, you're going to... I imagine you would get a different answer to this question from every different person you ask. But I am happy to give you mine. But understand that unless your gaming preferences are very aligned to mine, then, you know, this answer will have, you know, different degrees of applicability to you. But the best way that I can answer that question is to say that before this DLC released, I would comfortably have said that Biotech was my favorite DLC. However, that I felt that Ideologian gave the most content bang for buck of all of the DLCs. I felt that Ideologian changed core game mechanics and added more for you to do, ideology that is, over any of the other DLCs. But that being said, for just the kind of the specific gameplay elements that the DLCs added, I felt that Biotech was my favorite. I think my favorite has now switched to this. The jury is still out to a certain degree because I haven't played this more than a couple of days. So, you know, there's only so much content that I've been able to experience in that time. So I can't, you know, immediately say with absolute confidence that is the case. But there is I feel that this is fast becoming my favorite. If this doesn't replace Biotech, it's only going to be by a small amount that there's going to be a difference in my preference for the two. Biotech will only just beat it out. But the two of these will firmly stand apart from all of the other DLCs. So when you tell me that you've got Biotech, which DLC would you want to get next? My answer will be, if your gaming preferences in terms of the content you like is somewhat similar to mine, based on the games I've played, if you've watched me before, or at enough length to have a feeling on whether our tastes align with one another, then from a pure content per penny spent on DLC, I would say Ideology. But for quality versus quantity, I would say yes, grab this one next. It was a very long-winded answer, I know, but hopefully it was a very complete answer as well. So I hope that does enough to answer your question. Have we even discovered the ability to build those things yet? You know what? I don't think we have. I don't think we have. Huh. I thought we had the console. Maybe we don't. Ah, we gotta go for microelectronics. Okay, auto doors next, and then microelectronics. But that's where I'm gonna put it. I'll pop the stool there in preparedness. Here's out to file. Thank you so much for the 45 months, mate. Thanks for your answer. I'm going to get this. It appeals to me more over ideology and royalty. Yeah, I have always enjoyed a nomadic playstyle more than any other. But the base game makes that hard to achieve, I feel. Like, you have to fight against the base game to achieve a nomadic kind of existence on the Rim. Whereas this game, this DLC has drastically improved that. I think I'm gonna move you around a little bit. I'm basically right now just looking for every tiny little spot that I can fit something. Every tiny scrap of space I can reclaim. It has come down to this. I want 2 of these, 1 there, 1 there. I think I will reinstall you. I really would like to reinstall you, but apparently I won't. I'm going to build a copy you. Like those. This will at least allow me to bring in more wood. That can now be installed. Why can't I place it there? Oh, I see. I see. Crafting spot will go over here. And that's pretty much just makes smoke leaf forever. If I've got the smoke leaf, then make it into joints. I always map out and build sprawling bases. This will take some effort starting out. But hopefully it'll be rewarding effort. I quite enjoy playing different, exploring different playstyles when I have the opportunity to, at the very least. Right then. People are swapping out to dusters. It's getting rather warm in here now. And you've all got a bunch more space that you can store things, which is fantastic. There we go. Let's bring in all of the gubbins, please, and indeed, thank you. Yeah, the thunder is sometimes quite loud. Probably stands out quite aggressively from everything else. Let's have a look here. Yeah, that's fine. How are you doing? Getting a bit low on food, actually. Hopefully someone brings you some food soon. Who's our current warden? That would be Tacit. And what are you doing right now? You were reading. Fair enough. Oh no, someone was already taking care of you. That's cool. Cool. Right, we want to go and bring in the last of the mech scraps. I don't think we really are getting much from those in terms of things like plasteel, but just on the odd chance. On that note, anything else? Plasteel? No, that's actual plasteel. Uranium? Nope. Okay. Gold? Nope. Jade? Nope. Silver? Nope. Okay. That's all of the ores. Though I believe there is now obsidian, which I'm actually quite excited to check out. Alright, now I just need you guys to haul stuff in. Until there's no more room to haul things in. And then we can leave. Quest expires in 24 hours. Paid defense. We want to check that out. So, paid defense. 1 archer, 4 archers. Making a request. Ask that you send them a challenging message to attract them to attack and eliminate the threat yourself. I'm not sure if this would... Like, do we need to kill them? Do we actually need to kill them off ourselves? Because I wouldn't mind getting another nerve spike. I'm not lying. I'm not... Yeah, I think... I'm not going to lie. I think that would be an amazing return. But I'm not sure I would be able to do that without a little bit of help in our defenses. I guess I could throw up something around here, maybe. I don't really have much in terms of a defensive wall here, though. No, I don't think I'm going to go for that one, actually. I think instead we're going to launch at this point. So let's just go ahead, launch the ship. And 31% quality is the expected. Curiosity's got 79% on her piloting skill, which is actually quite nice. And Tacit Chat is not far behind. Not bad at all. Alright, let's begin. Wait for everyone to get back. And we are good to go. Right, we can't quite get to this location, but we could hit the Foggy Mix Biome Lake down there, get a little bit more. We could also potentially hit the Ancient Uplink, Ancient Chem Fuel Refinery, and Ancient Heat Vent. Okay, let's find out about these. Ancient ducts will regularly vent heat from an underground megastructure that dramatically raising the temperatures of the surrounding area. This area is the boundary of 2 distinct biomes. An abandoned industrial installation containing large quantities of chem fuel. It may also contain dangerous security systems. And this area contains an uplink used for communication with a low-orbit satellite. Hacking the uplink will reveal a hidden location in orbit. Well, I mean, it's not a terrible place for us to jump to. Hopping down there, and then we would be able to hop down here instead, or we just go for a quick trip into the mountains down here, maybe. Foggy Mix Biome Lake, just a large body of water. I mean, it's not terrible. It's 6th of September. 6th of April, 6th of September. We would be able to start growing there if we landed. Yeah, ultimately I want to try and get down there, so having a little bit of downtime, getting in some medicine, some food, though we're not really hurting for either, before moving on. Or we could go over here and then we might be able to find all kinds of gubbins, but there's a risk of wasps and the likes. Actually, no. Let's be brave. Let's go ahead and risk it for a biscuit, shall we? Such a cool animation. Now, wonder if there's much in orbit around here. There's an asteroid, but not really above us, unfortunately. Right, what are we looking at? Oh, these are the heat vents, I take it. Ancient heat vent, dormant. Massive duct that drops endlessly into the ground. It will regularly vent heat from an underground megastructure, dramatically raising the temperature of the surrounding area. Our ship should be able to cool itself down. We've got some buildings around here, some scrap from mechs there, some gold in the wall. We've got some uranium ore. Anyone want a uranium skull cap? Any other particular features? We've got some fertile land there, some fertile land over here actually as well. But not sure if this place is really going to be good for growing anything, considering the temperature is going to jump. We've got an ancient uplink over here. Okay. Rightio. Anything else nearby? Okay, this is not actually a bad location. These megastructures are obviously a little bit of a concern, but I could just land here, try cordon off an area, do a little bit of farming perhaps, and then slowly explore this area, or I could land next to the uplink. Well, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on this map, I think, so maybe landing here would be the better option. Let's pop the ship down just about. Let's pop you there, I think. Either that or I can't place it over the geyser. Never mind then. See, that creates a nice little spot here for a defensive setup and easy access to the farms on that side. Sure. Confirm landing. Main thing here is going to be the chem fuel refinery, I think. That's going to mean that I don't need to just get out there and harvest everything. But initially... Ooh. Tempting. I could perhaps throw down a quick stone cutter's table around here. Make some stone blocks. At least something to throw together a little defensive area, perhaps. You know what? That's not a bad idea. It's pretty cheap to build. So I could even just tack it on in here, maybe. Because it will benefit from being a structure. So if I were to do something like this, perhaps, the little door there, then I'll just leave this behind. That shouldn't be a problem for me. Plus, I'll be able to tap it into some lights on the inside. That being said, I wonder, would the lights be left behind? Because that's a good question. Are they attached to the wall or not? Kind of tempted to find out. That'll be our test. Alright, the other things we're going to need, 2 dumping zones. Oh, actually, I get... Well, yeah, I suppose 2 dumping zones. One just by here for stones. Clear all. And then just have... Get rid of that. Chunks. Stone chunks. And then we also want a dumping zone. We can just pop it over here. For any mech and steel. I'll do. Alright. We're going to want to set up a couple of hauling jobs. Simple ones for now. Actually, the granite is probably the main thing I want to make any kind of defensive out of. So, let's cancel the haul on those, but bring any granite in that we can. Immediately go to mech. They always seem to be around the same place, so that should be all of them. And with that, I mean, we've easily got enough food. This alone is going to keep us going. Assuming that nothing breaks, we should be all right. Now, do these contain anything, or are all these going to be leaky? Yeah, they're empty and corroded. What about you? Ancient chem truck. Usable parts have been looted. Ancient crate. Scavenged long ago. Yeah, I think the only place that I'm going to find something is inside. And we will get to that. The other stuff that I'm going to want to do, though, is components. We've got a lot of these. You. I'll go and find the others later. I'm not going to try hacking anything for now. I just want folks to get work done, honestly. There's plenty of work to do. Hey, Talusia, how you doing? Yeah, I think that should work. Right, gonna have a lot of stuff to work on. I'm thinking in terms of assignments. I'm going to be very lazy for now. Super lazy, actually. I'm going to copy this. Actually, no. I'm going to copy this one, create a duplicate, and this will be anything plus. Oh, invalid policy name. Plus. There you go. I'm going to make this one the default. I'm not going to allow any tainted. I'm not going to allow anything below 60. And I only want normal to legendary. You can work out what to wear outside of that yourselves. There we go. There we are. People can put on what they want. Really? Oh, okay. We can't bounce. We've just landed. Our grav drive is going to be down for a bit. They intend to use psychic ritual to abduct colonists via teleportation. What are you wielding? Nothing too terrifying. All right. But we are not going to wait for you. Get out there and meet them. Oh. Hello? They had second thoughts when our response was not to cower in fear, but simply to arm ourselves and charge out. Apparently. They were like, nope, no. You know what? There's going to be easier people to prey on. These people, I don't know if they could take us or not, but they seem to think they could, so that's enough for us. Let's just go find an easier mark. Yeah, either that or something else on the map scared them off. Maybe the presence of all the mechs, and they were like, yeah, no, we like dealing with people who are made of blood. We don't like dealing with things that bleed oil. That scares us. Yeah, 5 minutes later, Azure Storm winks out of existence. Well, if that happens, there's nothing I can do about it. No, I don't... there's no enemies on the map that I can see. Dromadaries, but that's it. Is the temperature out? No, it's not an uncomfortable temperature outside. So I don't know what just happened. But I'm okay with not having to deal with it. Assuming that is in fact the case. We will see, I guess. Right. Okay, so this, I want to have a couple of bills. Make granite blocks. Effectively. Do forever with any granite tiles that are nearby. This way, it's only going to be the ones that are there, basically. Which I'm okay with. But yeah, I have no idea what just went down there. Vaxstone blocks, indeed. Vaxstone is what we get from asteroids. We don't have any. Okay, so the anomaly content really wants to get involved right now. They are tired of being overlooked. Frankly, they feel it is rude that we have been overlooking them. And that is fair. That is fair. I guess we're just going to bunker down. There's literally no reason for us to go out. Randy just changed his mind. And he's thinking, nah, you know what? We can do a better job. We'll do a different kind of raid. All they're going to do is... Oh, are they actually attacking the wall? Oh, are they attacking the walls? They are. I am not familiar with that being the case. Okay. Usually that's not how that goes down, but all right. Where do we want to attack from? I'm going to say down here would be the best place. You should not be there. Alright, open this door for me. And then hold it open. We're gonna have to sneak out and see what's out. Cringer! It was Cringer who decided to send the Shamblers. I knew it. First, his chat convinced him not to raid me, and then convinced him to raid me, probably. Hey, Cringer, how you doing, mate? This is what happens, you see. First, they show up with some people who want to try and kidnap us via teleportation, and then they just nope out the second we step outside our ship, like they had a change of heart, and then instead Shamblers show up. Cringer was just trying to lull me into a false sense of security. Shamblers in space? I know. Well, this is the first time I've seen them just straight up attack the ship. That is not something I'm familiar with, and it is scurry. Come on out. Need to kill them quickly. I'm afraid that I cannot spend the normal amount of time saying hello because, yes, we are in danger. So I need to set everyone on fire. Draw back. More fire, please. Fire. Fire. No. Fire. I said apply fire. God damn it. Yeah, maybe coming out here is not the right... Oh, it's not going to affect them. Ah, damn. All right. Draw back. You're going to need to get involved a little bit more. Do we want to try and run back inside? Because this is a lot of Shamblers. And they are fast. You may have just joined us right at the beginning of the stream and we're about to go down. Sadly. Right, let's try and reposition. Get the long arms back here. Get the... Can you... No, you can't Scout Flame here. Where is my impid? There you are. Scout Flame. Hold on there. Blah. Thank you. It's okay, understood. My dogs won't let me sit and chill right now anyway. They don't like these extra streams. Oh, bless. I mean, chilling is frankly a myth during these extremely hot, trying times. Critical colonist rescue. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Someone else is going to need critical rescue as well. This has not been a very good situation. I was caught off guard, and now we are paying the price on so many levels. Splitsy, crawl away. Run away, Splitsy. We should be able to just keep applying fire, hopefully. I don't know. But they're already in the ship, which is a problem. I was not prepared for that. Again, I'm not familiar with them just deciding to attack like this. Like, at all. Come on. Just need one more down. Thank you. Are they going to try and push? Maybe. I need you to finish this job quickly so I can get out there and help. I was lulled into a false sense of security, but how slow they were. It didn't look like they were approaching. Like, just put the fire out so that maybe they'll approach me. There we go. Draw back. There we go. Looks like they are going to try and make a move, but they're tearing the ship apart, which really does suck. Yep, they're coming in from behind. They finally chewed through the ship in a couple of places. Oh, they're going for you. Oh, yeah, no, they're going for the prisoner. Interesting. They're more or less ignoring the crew. Well, no, they're not, but you know what I mean. Oh, my God. I think this actually might be a wipe. And that is so horrible, but there is nothing I can do about this. Shooters are now basically forced into melee. And there's just... we can't fly. We can't fly Death 13. We only just landed. We literally only just landed, mate. So the engines are cooling down for another 4.5 days. Has been torn to death. They literally just queued up. That Shamblers are usually such an easy threat to deal with. Self-destruct, take them with you. There's no self-destructing. I mean, maybe they can slip in there, perhaps, but... Yeah, Is that you... Am I just misremembering how Shamblers work? Because typically Shamblers have always been an easy opponent to deal with. I've never struggled with Shamblers before. Well, you're dead in 6 hours. You're dead in 2. Unless we get another man in black, which we might. 8 hours. That is going to be a hard reset on the colony. We lost a couple of doors, but mostly, I don't know. Looks like I joined at an inopportune time. Yes, it does seem to be the case. Maybe you kited them in the past using their slow speed against me. Yeah, but these ones moved really quickly, actually. Though I did notice that they're going to be dead in 2 hours. Generally speaking, I just waited it out. But someone said... disease, lung rot. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Where was it? Shambler assaults were always a problematic encounter, says Filthy Phil. Since they always go straight for the walls and ignore pathing. That hasn't been my experience in the past. But perhaps I'm just mixing up the encounters. I'm not even sure you're going to be able to keep yourself alive even if you get into the bed. Yeah, the Shamblers are just dropping now. Tacit Chatter is down. Queen Curiosity is gone. Greedy Ballsman is trying desperately to get in there. Literally the span of basically 3-4 hours in game just wiped us. You thought it was going to be Space Pirates. Instead, you ended up in a Walking Dead episode. Yeah, pretty much. Definitely time to try turrets on the ship. In this run, or in the next. Possibly, yeah. Will your dead crew become uber zombies? I don't believe so. But maybe. Dear Di, today we learned about where all the ruins and wrecked ships come from. Splitty, that was the previous man in black. And they were wearing vac suits. Oh. Dead in 5 hours. Are you up? You... No, you're not. Okay. Dead in 3 hours. Yeah, they bleed out. They will not recover, I don't think. We'll see. Medieval Doctor. Okay, you got my attention. Is crashing in a transport pod nearby. They're suffering from paralytic beings. Okay, you lost me. You lost me a paralytic aphasia. I guess I'll accept. Sure. God damn it, Randy. Well, that took a turn so suddenly. We came here, more or less just look like we didn't even get to the fun stuff here. We came here thinking, oh, this is going to be an easy ride. But no. But no. Dead in 1 hour. And then that's it. Wow. You can have a doctor, but they're paralyzed, yeah. Oh, there we go. Quest failed. Primary ID religion changed to what? Who's still alive? Oh, Alexi. Technically, Alexi is still a colonist. I mean, they're going to die of exposure in the desert, but they are still technically a colonist. It's like that one time you sent your drop pod of potatoes right after the colony starved to death. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Well, that, I guess, is an opening for us to start a new colony. I'm a little bit disappointed that went south so shockingly fast. Like, that was what? 30 minutes from us starting to it just being over? Granted, I'm going to be honest, I was a little bit flustered when they started attacking the walls because I wasn't expecting that behavior. And then I was overconfident and I walked all the way out here. I should have had this area just held. We would have been able to continue using fire in both directions, realistically. So when this sort of thing happens, personally, I think just, getting straight back up and dusting yourself off and jumping in again is the best course of action. But it's always worthwhile sitting back for a moment and appreciating where things went wrong, where things could have been done better to avoid it, and where it was just RNG. Now, obviously, there's a degree of RNG, and there was weird behavior with the cultists down here. Then followed immediately by a Shambler raid, which in and of itself was strange. It's like Randy just thought to throw the cultists at us and then realized that we probably would have won against the cultists, so decided to take back his raid points and then use them on Shamblers. And in terms of... There are 13 said streamers add trap passages. Streamers add trap passage to their ship. Your use of plural and singular in that sentence is very confusing. But you may note that well, I guess it isn't there here, but you have been here for the entire time that I was talking about the plan to do this, so I'm not going to let you off that easily. The whole point of me building the stone cutters there was so I could build out a wall and stone spike traps. So that was... I wasn't going to add it into the ship because I just don't have that much space. I was already short on space. But establishing one before I started poking any of the local threats was part of the plan. I guess I could sacrifice some of the space that we had here or go for a smaller freezer or something like that, I guess, in order to have a little trap corridor on the ship. But honestly, that feels cheesy in the way that all kind of kill boxes feel cheesy. It feels very weird to have that just bolted onto the side of the ship. I much preferred the idea of having some sort of turret built onto the prow of the ship with some cladding around it to prevent explosions moving back into the more fragile hull. Nevertheless, I'm not going to completely sign off on the idea of having defenses or defensive positions around the ship. But I probably wouldn't be looking to try and make, the tried and tested kill box / trap corridor style defenses. That feels... while it would probably work, it doesn't feel like that would play into the story. That would just be me being a gamer trying to go for the meta min-max build, and that's really not how I play games. Any games, not just Rimworld. Random idea. Conduits in the walls all around the ship and a small auto turret. Disassemble them and take them on board the ship when you move. Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good point. I could just take the turrets up, build them, and then uninstall them. That's actually a very good suggestion. Very good suggestion. And if things were going bad when the uniform of the day was red, shit. Damn it. Whoever finds this wreck will have a heck of a cleanup job. Yeah, but they'll also have, for all intents and purposes, a functioning grav ship. Yeah, they've got to clean out the bodies, and yes, maybe they're going to have to wonder what on earth went on, but, you know, more power to them, I think. Steelrick says, I think you're going to have to be very defensive and cautious at the start. This isn't the start. As far as Rimworld is concerned, this is not the start. We're 132 days into the playthrough. So, ironically, I would actually say that your assertion there of being ultra cautious at the start is wrong. As it seems that this DLC rewards more aggression, taking more chances, and then, or at least with regards to the grav ship, leaning on the fact that the grav ship can just get you out of trouble. So pick fights that you wouldn't otherwise, and then just bounce if they get a little bit hairy. But definitely the accumulated wealth. Like, I was not trading. There were lots of things that I could have done to try and pull down the value of this ship. If we have a look at the wealth, we were up to 67,000 at this point with just 5 colonists. No particularly powerful weapons, and the best armor they had was by and large vac suits. So that was not the way that I would typically play Rimworld, at the very least. That attack came just after we landed. Look at that. New settlement Shambler assault. Interestingly, though, it doesn't mention the raid. Does it even mention the raid in the messages? Yeah, it does. 1 day apart. The grav ship is not valued that highly, interestingly enough. But yeah, the fact that that raid happened and then they just noped out, which is not something I've typically seen before, and then a Shambler assault the next day. I'm not really sure how that would go, but definitely rebuilding building the ship in a way so that we got a more defensible entrance. Like, none of the entrances, of the 2 entrances rather, were particularly well defended on the ship. Having an area, the typical kind of build up where I can have 1 person blocking the way, and then like 6 people behind them shooting into the area. That would be one of the better ways. The other thing you could do as well, I guess. Oh, they've got 420 hit points. They're no slouch, really, when you think about it. If we have a look at the structures, Granite has the most at 510. It's not airtight, though, so you could technically, if you really wanted to, encase your ship in an outer kind of skein of granite, a granite cladding around your otherwise airtight steel interior. And yeah, the one of the big issues with turrets simply positioned on the outside is that they explode with enough force to take out a grav plate wall. Yeah. Granite spaceship. Sounds bad. It sounds very dwarven, doesn't it? Very rock and stone. Ablative armor, yeah. Well, that was my initial thought with regards to building turrets, is to have a like a U-shaped kind of seat for the turret to be nestled in, so that any explosion would only really blow outwards or into the granite and thus not damage the ship walls. Bioferrite walls, perhaps. I can't check bioferrite at the moment, though. I can't see the bioferrite details until we've got bioferrite to build with. But yeah, that is going to be it. There's no more opportunity. There's no more Man in Black. Technically, if you waited around long enough, I believe eventually, like, the story is never over until it's over. If you hang tight long enough, a wanderer will join. When a wanderer, and you know, basically they could inherit the ship, but they'd also inherit the enormous wealth of the ship. Is that ship layout a given? I've seen this layout in other streams. Really? This is... No, I've just been building this hodgepodge as I've been going. Oh, shush. The streams are over. Just this ship. We'll switch over to... We'll start another run. But for those asking if we're just gonna reload, no. That's not the way that I enjoy it. I prefer there to be consequences when I'm playing Rimworld. I also prefer it when my drinks are close enough for me to reach them. Weird, seems everyone I've watched has had the same idea then. Really? I've only seen 2 other people playing Odyssey so far. At anything beyond like the first couple of hours of gameplay. So, you know, everyone's ship literally starts with this little thing. But the only 2 other people that I've seen playing Odyssey had very, very different ships. One was Cringer with a wild like winglet full of solar panels and a front entrance somewhere around here with just a plating floor with sandbags and floodlights and guns, and another person who basically made a flying saucer. As the person who lost my only death copium save last week, I fully support Aavak. Zephyr asks, I heard you talking about turrets on the side of the ship, but I wasn't able to listen. What was it? Oh, building turrets on the ship. Apparently, when a turret explodes, it explodes with enough force to simply tear down the steel gravship hull walls. So my initial plan was to do something like this, and then have the turret there. So you'd have grav flooring here, and then build like a granite wall around it, and then have a turret in the middle, or a plasteel wall if you wanted. Just as a basically, so all of the explosive force would travel outwards like that, or into the granite and be absorbed. We had a grav ship. It is now a grave ship. Yes. Very true. You could run this fast offline and bring it back to another stream once someone who can survive joins. Maybe we could see that perhaps. I'll consider that an option. But again, if you are of the inclination to kind of be a sort of a midway between Iron Man and Reload Anytime kind of player, and you want more of a story continuation rather than simply timey-wimey shenanigans, oh no, that loss didn't happen, it was all a dream, then yeah, you can just wait once the last person dies in the colony, I think you can still have a wanderer for a little while afterwards. But whilst there's only one person there, or two people, or even if someone is basically just bleeding out but takes a while, or he's just like, you know, he's got the, I don't know, again, paralytic apatia, there is a good chance that the storyteller will send you a wanderer at some point, because they want you to have a certain amount of players, or a certain amount of colonists. But yeah, I come back and everyone is dead. Yep, sadly. Protect the novice. I mean, I could accept it. No. There they go. Game over. Everyone is dead or gone. The story's over. Perhaps someone else will find a use for the ruins of this place. And there we go. You can keep watching for now. Or create new wanderers. Must wait 8 hours. That, I'm actually not familiar with that one. That's quite an interesting one. Still need to search the building. Yeah. Though, actually, let me just load that back up again, because I'm not familiar with the wait for wanderers one. I'm just gonna go into speed mode, let them die again, and then we will see. Yeah, malnutrition severe, because 8 hours will pass quite quickly. I want to see if that just boots you into... Wow, geometry self-tamed. Just boots you into, like, character creator or something. Oh, was that added in 1.5? Yeah. Looks like they streamlined the Wanderer joining after losing. It seems so. We regret to inform you that your son was killed and is now shambling on a planet known as Rimworld. Wop wop. Of all the places you could have landed with paralytic apatia, though, an ancient heat vent has become active, raising temperatures. Oh, now that is cool animation. That is exceptionally cool. That is very cool. Yeah, since I've not seen the whole Wanderer, create new Wanderers menu, I'll just rush up to that. But I think we'll start a fresh run. Yeah, up to 38C from like 12. Pen needed. Bob, bob, bob. Keep watching for now. So the full map heat or just directly or area around it? No, it's full map heat. The whole zone is hot. Two more hours. You know, and it's also summer. Create new wanderers. There we go. Everyone is dead or gone. Perhaps someone else will find a use for the ruins of this place. Choose new wanderers, arrive at your colony, and continue the story. Huh. Yeah. Oh, and you can add more people as well. That is actually quite cool. How many siblings did Splitsy have? Thalandra, Wildborn. I forgot Thalandra's surname. I'm gonna say, all right, that if you have a surname like Wanker, whether it was your parents or their parents to them, or somewhere down the line, someone's parents decided they really, really hated their children in particular. Yeah, this is base game. Yeah, I've never seen this option. Usually it was a case you just had to wait for a wanderer to show up and it would just be a single wanderer or a man in black or something. But it seems that they've actually really leaned into the whole story element. And they are all of a different... Oh... They are all of a different ideology. Yeah, the previous ideology is gone. Yeah, they died for their sins. The guilt ends with them. But yeah, there you go. That you know, I can just click the button just to see it happen. A few wanderers have stumbled across the remains of the colony and decided to stay. Perhaps they will be able to continue its story. There you go. They enter at that point. I think they are probably... Well, I was going to say they are probably drawn from the initial crew, because you select 3 out of like 10 or 8 or something like that. But I don't know if they are, because of the relationships that they have. It seems that it's gone out of its way to have people with relationships to the deceased. But yeah, for those who are just arriving, a big Shamble Horde took us out in a combination, to me, grossly underestimating their speed and threat level. I am not familiar with Shamblers being a threat. My exposure to them in Anomaly has generally been very much either you just ignore them and they don't do anything, or you go and deal with them and they still don't do anything. It's just they don't do it aggressively. But this time they just started banging on the walls of the ship, and so I went out to meet them and made numerous tactically poor decisions. The first one was moving out of my highly defensible spot here to be able to mow them down faster. And I don't... Thing is, I was full of the kind of bravado that comes with assault rifles and combat shotguns and charge rifles, and we had none of that. We had a couple of bolt action rifles and a nerve spiker. We did have an incinerator, which was very useful for the couple of shots that it did, but generally speaking, we were not in a position where we could easily deal with this. They punched through the steel doors and then just started wrecking the ship. A ship with a load of dead people around. Seems like a great place to call home. What could possibly go wrong? Well, it isn't just that. The ship with all of the dead people on it is called the Event Horizon. Honestly, I feel that this is a completely thematically appropriate end to this ship. Yeah, I bravely sallied forth, but was overrun. Right. We're going to start a new crew now, though. Well, whether we go for a crew or whether we go with one of the different ones. We've seen how the ship start works now. We could go for a regular start. But that is going to be the end for the crew of the Event Horizon, and the story of the Event Horizon, at least, as far as we're telling it here. Have one last look at it. I was quite happy with the ship. I ran out of space, but I was happy with what we had. A little bit sad to see it go, but all things that have a beginning have an end.